When you're fasting, you obviously can't be taking in any kind of food or calories of any sorts because that's going to end up breaking your fast. But as far as supplements go, there's a lot of acceptable supplements that you can have and a lot of unacceptable supplements that you can have while you're fasting. So I'm going to tell you the acceptable ones, go over the benefits that you can get from those, and then I'm going to give you the unacceptable ones, the benefits you could get from them, but unfortunately some of these are going to end up breaking your fast or taking away from the benefits of your fasting routine. So as far as acceptable supplements go, any and all minerals are going to be okay to intake while you're fasting because they're water soluble. Now, water soluble does deviate a little bit, but I'm going to get to that into the unacceptable supplements here in just a little bit. But minerals are also extremely essential while you're fasting. We're talking about things like magnesium, potassium, calcium, trace minerals. If you don't keep these elevated and up while you're fasting, you're going to end up having a lot of fatigue, possibly brain fog, and just not feeling good in general. Just taking a quick look at those, magnesium is really easy to get in as far as taking pills goes. Malate glycinate is honestly the best forms you can get. Now, as far as potassium and sodium goes, the best way to get this in, and the way that I prefer, is what I like to make that's called salt shots. For those of you that have watched a lot of my other videos, you know what I'm talking about, but if you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, all you need to do is take a bathroom cup or 3 ounces of water, mix 1/4 a teaspoon of Redmond's real salt, and then half a teaspoon of now potassium citrate powder. Make sure that's good and mixed up, knock it back, and you're good to go, and that's giving you a good amount of sodium and potassium. Now, I'll have links in the description to the two I just told you about if you want to check them out and see if they're right or optimal for you. But if that don't sound like something you can stomach or do, you can always go for electrolyte powders, but you have to be very careful with those. Now, this is where I'm going to slowly shift into the unacceptable supplements, because with electrolyte powders, anyone that you buy is going to have some kind of sweetener in it, okay? Because they're not going to sell you something that tastes like crap because no one's going to buy it. But the kind of sweetener that they're using is going to be the most important part. So when you're checking the ingredients list on electrolyte powder, if they're using things like stevia, monk fruit, erythritol, xylitol, those are going to be okay. But if they're using things like dextrose, sorbitol, maltitol, or aspartame, you need to go ahead and put that back on the shelf and run the other way, because those will end up breaking your fast. One thing to know though is sweeteners in general have been shown to slightly blunt the benefits or the effects of a fast, but not completely break it. But honestly, getting these minerals in is going to be a lot better because of the way you're going to feel than not getting them in and feeling like crap, but still getting the full effect and benefits from the fast that you're doing. Like I said, it's just a small amount that it can blunt it just a little bit. Also, if it has any calories, obviously you can't have that either because that's going to for sure break your fast. Now, moving into vitamins. If there's any vitamins in these supplements at all, you absolutely cannot have them. So I'm going to explain why. And we're going to start off with B vitamins and vitamin C. Earlier I mentioned minerals being water soluble, but I said there was one deviation, and that is with B vitamins and vitamin C. These are going to end up interrupting the cleansing process that you're going through while you're fasting because you're introducing external antioxidants into the body. When you're fasting, it's been shown that you have a big boost in what's called glutathione, which is your body's master antioxidant, and honestly, arguably, one of the most powerful antioxidants there is. The antioxidant effect that you get from B vitamins, and especially vitamin C, are going to interrupt upregulation of glutathione, and as I said, it's arguably the most powerful antioxidant there is, so I'd rather have an elevation of that instead of intaking external antioxidants, which are not quite as powerful. So stay away from any water-soluble vitamins. Then also no fat-soluble vitamins. We're talking about vitamins like vitamin A, E, D, and K. So there's two reasons for this, and the first one is going to be intaking any kind of fat or any kind of fat-soluble vitamin, because those stimulate bile. If you stimulate bile while you're fasting, although it's not going to completely break your fast, it's definitely going to blunt the benefits you have from your fast a pretty good bit. The thing that I find the most wild about this is a lot of electrolyte powders that I see have things like vitamin D and vitamin K and vitamin A, and you know, those are good, just not during a fast. And another thing is, these vitamins, being that they're fat soluble, they're not going to be able to stimulate enough bile on their own for you to fully absorb them and get their full effects. So the intake of those just need to be limited to when you're eating and with your meals, and preferably with a good amount of fat, so that you can stimulate enough bile to fully break those fat soluble vitamins down and absorb them. So just a quick recap so that you fully understand this. All and any mineral supplements are fine, just make sure there's no calories, no unacceptable sweeteners, no fat-soluble vitamins, and no water-soluble vitamins. I hope this helps out, guys, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments section down below. But keep it keto, keep it healthy, and I'll see y'all next week.